There's growing backlash over the Trump administration's immigration crackdown on college campuses. Protests broke out in the Boston area over the weekend after this video circulated of Tufts University student and Turkish national Rumeysa Ozturk recently being taken into custody. Now, DHS says that she was supporting Hamas, but her lawyers say the detention is about silencing her speech and punishment for her political views. I want to now bring in criminal civil rights lawyer and constitutional law expert Robert McWhirter. Robert, always good to have you. Thanks for being with me.
Good morning.
A judge temporarily halting the deportation of this Turkish student. What is the administration going to need to prove that this 30-year-old was indeed helping Hamas?
Well, very little, actually. And they're using this obscure provision under the 1952 Immigration Act, which may well be unconstitutional. But at least at the face of it, they have to go in and allege that she was somehow supporting terrorism or the enemies of the United States. And it's a pretty low standard. But frankly, in this case, they might not even meet that, as they have with other cases like this. All this woman did was write an op-ed.
Yeah, and college campuses everywhere are now watching this story. Many colleges now reportedly turning to surveillance videos. They're conducting searches as they investigate these protests. What kind of effect could this have, not only on protests, but also just the civil liberties of students moving forward?
Well, I think that was the point, is to make the point and to try to quash this. This is kind of, and the only analogy I can think of is McCarthyism. You know, all you have to do is, if you don't like somebody's opinion or disagree with them or whatever, is you call them a communist. Well, now they're going to turn around and call them some kind of a terrorist when all they did was made a political statement. And you know, there's a lot of room for reasonable criticism of Israel in support of the Palestinian cause. That doesn't mean that you're a member of Hamas. And that is what it's coming to with this.
The administration insists the recent arrest of Columbia student Mahmoud Khalil was not because of his speech. What do you think the courts will ultimately decide in that case and others? Do you think we'll see deportations because of this?
I think it's very possible, but what I think we'll see is very, very poor evidence to support what the administration does. They're supposed to show something, and they're resisting even the chance of showing their case. You know, if they have a case, they should come in and make it, and they're just resisting it. Look, I think there's some real broader point about what values we have in America. The Constitution says we the people, not we the citizens. It's about the universality of rights. Everybody has those rights, even aliens in this country. They have a right to speech. In fact, a lot of them came here because we have free speech, kind of fleeing regimes that don't. And now it looks like we want to be a regime that quashes free speech, like the very places these folks fled from. And that's sad.
And like I mentioned, too, you know, schools everywhere are now watching this. How should universities respond in this very sensitive moment if they know that Jewish students are being threatened by these protesters in plain sight, and this speech is, in fact, making them feel unsafe? I mean, how do schools need to be stepping in right now?
Well, look, if students are threatened, if there's anti-Semitism, the schools need to deal with that. There's a conflagration here, though, and it's on purpose, of saying that, oh, making speech supporting your political position about what's happening in the Middle East now all of a sudden becomes anti-Semitism. If there's true anti-Semitism, that should be dealt with codes, honor codes within the universities and colleges. And then if there's actual threats, real threats, not just perceived threats that somebody has, then that can be prosecuted. In fact, if you are actually engaged in criminal activity, you can be arrested and deported if you are an alien in this country, documented or otherwise. That's the way to handle this. Do this under the rule of law, not just grabbing somebody off the streets. You look at that video, that poor woman was scared to death when some guy who's got a face mask on comes up to her and another guy comes behind her. That's a terrible way to treat people.
Robert McWhirter, I got to end it there, but thank you so much, as always, sir, for your time and expertise this morning.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.